Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to block invasions in Elden Ring. That way you can play with your friends and co-op in peace without having to worry about invaders. We're going to need two things for this. One, NetLimiter. You can Google it, it's a common piece of software. Go ahead, make sure that's downloaded and installed, should be free. Additionally, you're going to need to know your friend's IP address. Make sure that you are providing them with an external IP address. So what your friend is going to do is on their machine, they're going to go into Chrome or their web browser. They're going to Google something similar to "what's my IP?" Google should tell you it right here. It's going to look very similar to what you see here. If it is a much longer string, you can also go to nordvpn.com/whatismyip and it will tell you as well. It should look very similar to this here. If it starts with 192.168, then you have the wrong IP. That's your internal IP address. You need your external. Alright, assuming that NetLimiter is now installed, I'm going to go ahead and move it over here. You're going to see a display very similar to this, and make sure that you have Steam running as well. What we're going to be doing first is go to Filter List. At the bottom left, there should be an Add Filter button. We're going to create a new filter. We're going to call it InvaderBlock. Alright, filter type set to filter, per type set to none, and we're going to add a few conditions to this filter here. First, we're going to set the application to Steam. If you search Steam up here, you should see it. You don't want to do Steam Client Web Helper, just the regular Steam, likely in Program Files, steam/steam.exe. You're going to select that, hit OK. Make sure it populates down here. We're going to add a few more rules to this. But first of all, you can go ahead and hit Save. Alright, so there we say application is Steam. Now we're going to hit Add again. For choose function, this time we are going to do, let's see here, transport protocol is. So you're going to hit that, and under the value you're going to select that to UDP, which should be 17. Here we go, UDP 17. Hit Add, Save. And now here's one more thing. This is going to block all traffic from invaders, but it's also going to block your friends too. So we need to make sure to add a list to allow your friends to connect in. So we're going to add another rule here, choose function. We're going to do remote host is, remote address not in range. Alright, so these are people we want to make an exception for, such as your friends. So I'm just going to type in random IP address here, and you hit add. This would be your friend's IP address that they want to connect to you with. So your friend would provide that to you, and you punch it in here. If you have multiple friends that you're playing with, you can go ahead, keep adding it, and you can always return here, hit edit, and you can add more, as many as your heart desires. Alright, you're going to hit save. Save once again, and we've now created the filter, InvaderBlock. At this point now, we need to block this traffic. So we just set up a filter that defines what that traffic looks like. Now we're going to right click on it, add rule. Here we go. This rule is for InvaderBlock. Rule type we're going to set to blocker. We're going to block the direction both ways. The blocker action is going to be deny. So make sure your page looks like this here, and hit OK. Alright, that worked. At this point, we're going to move from tabs from filter list over to rule list. Here is the rule that we set up. NetLimiter has a nice function for a hotkey. So what we're going to do is on the right hand side here, under the settings for the rule, we're going to do hotkey add, and in my case I'm going to do control numpad 5. Alright, And now you can look on the left here under the rule, under the state. I'm hitting Control F5 here, and you can see it toggling from active to disabled. Alright, that is all you need to do, but this needs to be used in a very specific way. When you log into Elden Ring, what you're going to do first is make sure that this is disabled. You won't be able to summon your friend unless it is disabled. At that point, you are going to summon your friend, as you do normally. Once you have your friend actually moving around in your world and connected, that is when you're going to hit your hotkey to activate it. Otherwise, you can always just right-click, enable or disable. In this case, you want to set it to enable. Once your friend is connected, you set this rule to enable. It'll prevent invaders from entering your session, but will allow your friend to stay in the session. At this point, one limitation here is that if you die, let's say you or your friend dies and you want to resummon them, you do need to disable this rule when you first summon your friend. Once your friend is in your session, and if their IP address matches the filter that we put in before, you can go ahead, hit your hotkey, activate this rule, and it will prevent invasions. Thank you very much, and feel free to let me know if you have any questions.